In 48 BC, Julius Caesar sat in his palace in Alexandria, the most feared man in the known world. Guards were posted at every door. Then, a carpet unrolled at his feet, and Cleopatra stepped out of it. She had been exiled. She had no army. She was not even considered the most beautiful woman in her own city. Yet within days, Caesar abandoned his military duties and sailed down the Nile with her for months, while Rome descended into disorder. She did not use beauty, she used psychology. Seduction is not about looks. It is a systematic process of influence where people are drawn in and won over without force. Cleopatra's real power was transformation. She constantly shifted her appearance, her mood, and her energy. No one could pin her down or predict her. That unpredictability created an obsession. This skill is learnable. Most people, though, destroy their own chances every day without knowing it. Robert Greene, in The Art of Seduction, identifies what he calls anti-seducers. These are people who kill attraction before it starts. They act from insecurity, and that insecurity radiates outward to everyone around them. The suffocator floods people with attention and demands constant reassurance. This behavior signals fear, not love, and people feel trapped by it. Josephine Bonaparte refused any man who chased her too openly. She understood that smothering someone feels like a prison. The chatterbox dumps their entire life story on a first date before the food arrives. They think they are building connections. They are actually soothing their own anxiety at the other person's expense, which the other person feels immediately. The core rule is this: aim your attention outward, not inward. People who obsess over how they come across destroy the very thing they are trying to create. The seducer's job is to study the other person, to learn what moves them and what they are missing. People do not fall for you. They fall for the version of themselves they see reflected in you. Every person carries unfulfilled desires and emotional gaps. When you show someone the best version of themselves, when you make them feel understood and admired, you become irreplaceable to them. To do this well, you need to know your own seductive type. The rake offers unrestrained intensity. The Duc de Richelieu in 18th century Paris wore disguises, risked arrest, and crossed every social boundary to reach a lover. Women competed fiercely for his attention, not because he was a good man, but because his passion made each one feel like the only person in the world. His obsession with them was the point. The ideal lover listens for the small frustrations people mention and then becomes what they are missing. Madame de Pompadour recognized that King Louis XV was bored. His previous mistresses offered him more of the same. She gave him novelty, art, intellectual engagement, and a mirror for his own ego. She shaped French politics for 20 years through that single relationship. The dandy breaks social rules and gender boundaries in ways that fascinate. Rudolph Valentino in 1920s Hollywood combined masculine confidence with emotional sensitivity. Women lined up outside theaters for him. Men studied his style. He fit no existing category, and that absence of category made him magnetic. The charmer deflects attention away from themselves and makes others feel seen and understood. They neutralize conflict with wit and leave people feeling better after any interaction than before it. Identify which type you are closest to. Build from your natural strengths rather than trying to imitate someone else's behavior and energy. Once you know your type, shift your focus entirely to the person in front of you. Every person carries a specific emotional gap. Your job is to find it. The disappointed dreamer grew up with big ambitions and settled into a life that bores them. They scroll through travel content at midnight, grieving the adventure they never took. Show them something unexpected. Take them somewhere they did not plan for. Their own imagination will do most of the work. You only need to start the movement. The prude follows strict social rules, corrects others publicly, and presents a morally superior front. Privately, they consume the exact content they publicly condemn. They are not actually opposed to breaking rules. They are waiting for someone with the confidence to take them there without asking permission first. The rescuer gravitates toward people with emotional baggage. Lord Byron, the 19th century poet, cultivated the image of a tortured soul. Women felt noble trying to save him. If you are dealing with a rescuer, do not perform strength. Show one small, genuine vulnerability. Let them feel that life has treated you unfairly. They will invest themselves completely. Seduction follows 4 phases. Phase 1. Separation. Pull the person out of their routine. Do not approach directly with obvious romantic intent. Their defenses rise immediately. Approach sideways. Start as a presence in their life, a person they enjoy talking to, someone who makes their day slightly better. The Duc de Lauzon spent months talking with La Grande Mademoiselle, the wealthiest woman in France, about poetry and politics. He made no overt move. One day, she realized her day felt incomplete without him. That realization was the opening. Add social proof. People want what other people want. When the target senses that others find you worth competing for, winning your attention becomes a matter of pride. Valentino's appeal multiplied because every woman in the theater was experiencing the same pull. That shared visibility compounded the desire. Phase 2. Confusion and suspense. Give warmth, then pull back. Queen Elizabeth I used this with the powerful men who sought her hand in marriage. She offered private meetings and playful closeness, then turned cold without explanation. The men became obsessed. The pattern works because the brain fixates on unresolved questions. When someone cannot figure you out, they keep thinking about you to resolve the tension. Stop talking in facts. Speak in feeling. A sentence like, "I feel strangely settled around you," leaves their imagination room to build a story. Associate yourself with specific music, places, or rituals. When those things appear in their life later, they will think of you whether they want to or not. Phase 3. Going deeper. Break through the last layer of rational resistance by making the person feel accepted without conditions. Adults spend most of their time being evaluated and judged. If you offer someone a space where they feel safe and fully seen, they attach strongly. Listen without correcting or advising. Reflect what they say without judgment. Then, introduce tension. Josephine Bonaparte kept Napoleon addicted by alternating between intense devotion and complete withdrawal. One week, she made him feel like the center of her world. The next week, she was cold and distant. The uncertainty drove him toward obsessive behavior. He wrote her hundreds of letters. He made military decisions based on her moods. When the fear of loss mixes with pleasure, the attachment strengthens beyond ordinary feeling. Push the person toward a shared line they would not normally cross. A private joke that mocks social norms. A place they agreed to go that feels slightly off limits. A conversation they would not have with anyone else. Shared transgression creates a bond. They have invested guilt, effort, and vulnerability. Leaving now costs too much. Phase 4. Conquest. Stop pursuing right before the finish. Casanova did this repeatedly. He would reach the height of a chase and then disappear. The absence created anxiety in the other person. They began pursuing him. When they reached out, he responded warmly, but let them feel that their desire had finally broken through his restraint. They believed they had won him over. He had structured every moment. When the person finally surrenders, make them feel that their own force of personality overwhelmed you. They feel victorious. That feeling cements the bond more deeply than any direct confession. The seduction does not end at conquest. Napoleon divorced Josephine decades later, but he said on his deathbed that he never stopped thinking of her. She had reached a layer of his memory he could not access or clear. That depth of impression requires ongoing maintenance. If you stop creating mystery after conquest, the attraction decays. You must continue introducing new sides of yourself, Never become fully predictable. Never let the person feel they have completely possessed you. If the relationship ends, end it fully. A clean break preserves the memory of the experience at its highest point. A slow decline erodes everything that made it worth having. What actually works? Study the other person more than you study yourself. Find the specific emotional gap they carry, not a broad personality type. Build presence slowly before escalating. Create warmth and then create distance, and repeat that pattern. Use feeling-based language rather than fact-based language. Share a transgression to deepen the bond past the surface level. Withdraw before the final moment and let them pursue. After conquest, maintain some mystery on an ongoing basis. These are not tricks for short-term gain. They are observations about how human psychology actually functions. People want to feel understood, desired, and slightly uncertain about where they stand. They want to feel that they earned something. They want to feel that you see something in them that others miss. You do not need unusual looks or wealth to create this effect. You need patience, observation, and the discipline to stay focused on the other person rather than on yourself. Every person you meet tells you exactly what they need if you pay attention. Your job is to provide it, and then to protect it from becoming routine.